agriculture in Kenya. Who is an agripreneur? This is a person who focuses on agriculture or agricultural related work. This is a name coined from joining two words, agriculture and entrepreneur. We have agripreneur. So it has to be sustainable. That's something that you do over some time. You are doing it profitably. I know there are people among us who farm or who are involved in agriculture as a hobby, and that's fine. Also, you have to think about community, that you're not just producing for yourself or what you'd call a subsistence farming. If you have a garden at the back of your house, a small garden where you produce your own vegetables and onions, that is, you're just trying to conserve and get fresh food. That is what we call subsistence farming. But agripreneur does it also for a profit motive. Then you have directly marketed agriculture. You have to market. Somebody has to pay you for your work, for your production, for the part that you play in the value chain. So, can we do agriculture for a profit? Yes, we can. And if we do so, we call ourselves agripreneurs. Agricultural sector in Kenya is very important. It's the backbone of our economy, meaning majority of people in Kenya work as in one way or another in the agricultural value chain. And that is 33% of our economy, GDP, is backed by agriculture. When people say that the economy is not doing well, agriculture is part of it because it's a key part of our production process. 40% of our population in general is involved in agriculture. Big source of employment. The good thing with employment, it can ramp up agriculture, it can ramp up employment very quickly. If you have a farm during planting, during weeding, during spraying and harvesting, you know that you really have to call in a lot of people to come and support you. 70% of rural population, people who live outside the large towns, are employed by agriculture. Agriculture offers us employment, food security, and foreign exchange. We export a lot of agricultural products, be it flowers, be it horticultural products. Some of you have traveled abroad and you've seen in shelves of supermarkets a product of Kenya, Kenya coffee. If you go for a coffee shop, into a coffee shop, it's such a proud moment for us as Kenyans because we are contributing something to others. And that's why they have to pay us in dollars, and our shilling strengthens against the dollar because people have to pay us in dollars for what we give them. So it's important as a source of also food security. There is no country actually that can be confident of itself if you don't have food security, because if you get an embargo on food importation, you really would be crippled to your knees. So it's a very important sector, and that's why we are talking about it today. When we professionalize agriculture, we will do well as a country. So we say the origin is since creation. It's brought about civilization. This is what we call agricultural revolution. The new machines that people brought about initially were to bring about efficiencies in the agricultural sector. In the modern times, we have to agree that agriculture has lost its charm. From earning so little, a lot of back-breaking work in the sun, that has and products that really people no longer consume, that farming, those value chains have brought about that people were no longer interested in farming. Because the perception is that it's dirty, it's poorly paid occupation, little income, it's something for strugglers. So for us to achieve that high efficiency, where you have farmers who are millionaires and billionaires, like it is in other countries where farmers are respected and honored, we need then to farm from a point of knowledge. We need to be experts in what we do. And the things we need to think about in terms of our knowledge are soil fertility. Now, if you farm the same crop day in, day out, year in, year out, for example, you're a maize farmer from January to the next year, what happens is that the nutrients that are specific to that soil change, because the crop you are farming has drained it completely, and then the yields drop. All of you remember long ago when we would even harvest 3 ears from a crop of 1 plant of maize. The main one, the second one, so always on the other side, and the third one, because the soils were fertile. Then you also have to know seasonality. A lot of our agriculture traditional has been rain-fed. And if you plant maize or any other crop during the low season, rains are not enough, your crop will fail. There's the issue of pesticides, which I want to encourage you to think about. Especially if you're thinking of the global market, the residual levels is a big thing. Because if you send something abroad, even when you're under contract and the residual levels are above the contracted levels, it will not be allowed to enter those markets, especially the very lucrative markets of EU and America. Pesticides are major problems. There is post-spraying periods that you should allow for the crop to wean itself of pesticides. Also for animals, the milk that we are processing. A lot of farmers are injecting their animals, be it for milk, be it camels, be it goats, be it cows that have been milked with chemicals. Yes, that's normal, because a lot of time there are all these East Coast fever we have to deal with. So please, let's make sure we are very careful with our usage of pesticides. We use those ones preferably that are organic and approved. Otherwise, we'll incur huge losses as farmers and it will not be lucrative. Also, we have to learn about crop rotation techniques. Crop rotation is very important because as you rotate crops, you avoid your farm being idle. And secondly, different crops also introduce new nutrients into your farm, and that's very useful. Farming equipment, I think that's very important because we want to be efficient into our farming. Farming the way we traditionally did with a djembe or a fork djembe may not be commercially sustainable, and actually it could be loss-making. Now, with farm equipment, you are able to attain large-scale farming, efficient farming, and you are also able to standardize your farming. Sometimes, farming is an income earner, we know that human labor may not be available because a lot of young people have left the rural areas and are involved in boda farming, boda riding and other activities. So farming using equipment, be it feeding traps, automatic feeding of your animals and watering, causes a high level of efficiency, and efficient farming results to better earnings. When we talk of youth and agriculture, we are saying for the youth listening here, it's a good career path for you to pursue. You could even go to and earn your certification, either a diploma, a degree, even master's or a certificate. And that's very important because now you come into farming as a profession, just like the way you do with other courses. Put a good education systems in place. Sometimes one of the biggest challenges is parents not approving of their children to be farmers. I don't think there's anything wrong with becoming a farmer because really it can be profitable and you can be successful as a farmer. Yes, it's a trend. Agriculture has become a trend that we should follow. So we have said in summary that agriculture can be a good and lucrative career path Government is always encouraging people to go into farming because of the benefits of farming, including food security and employment. Parents are important, and I want to encourage parents that for those of you in farming, please introduce your children early into farming, and that way you create interest and you're able to create a sustainable business as a farm. We have a chart, we have a photo before us of the clubs that used to introduce school-going pupils and children into farming. It showed them how to cultivate land, and then because of technological advancement, including the usage of computers, of apps, that becomes very useful. So young people can farm, and that's an image of young people exactly doing what we are talking about, farming. Let them do it in school, let them do it at home. Let them contribute to the community by also becoming researchers and also using hybrid cultivation techniques, which are high-yielding techniques for crops, also for animals, because we need to continually improve the breeding. And I'll be talking about breeds, be they plants, be they animals, because the climate is changing, research is going into farming, and we're getting breeds. We know a lot of people were importing modern breeds from Europe, but then they have to be functional here. In Kenya, we have got Carol that does research, and this is a place where I would encourage people interested in farming to go and visit, because they're able to tell you from where you are farming, be it Mombasa, Kisumu, Kapsabet, what animals can do well there, what crops can do there. We're now moving on to value addition in agriculture. As you can see in front of you, we have pepper, we have tomatoes, and we have something that looks like a sauce created out of it. We have and this is potentially very lucrative. Rather than just selling raw crops, when you package it, you earn a lot, you earn more, you extend its useful life, and that is what we call value addition. So what is value added agriculture? It's a process of changing or transforming a product from its original state into a more valuable state. So if you talk about wheat can be ground and made into flour. We know how much flour has become so expensive, and that is a process. Maybe when you sell raw wheat in the farm, I know people who sell their rice when it's in the farm. They have not added, yes, they have added value from planting, watering, and supervising until it's mature, but they don't earn as much as somebody who actually delivers it to the customer. So by processing it into flour, you have added value. And then you make it further into something which is desired by the customer, like bread, like cakes. For those of you who've bought wedding cakes, you spend 30, 40, 50, even up to 100,000. Because why? That person has brought in expertise. They have transformed wheat by massively and added a lot of value to something very, very desirable. So we are saying value addition refers to changing raw agricultural products, be they animal products, be they crop products, into something new. And I want to tell you that simply from moving your milk from your farm to the market, you've added value.